I just want to say this clip has literally nothing to do with today's video, but this video was sent to me anonymously by a fan, and I just need you all to see it.
Love on off Patron, got 100 on my arm with my clout goggles on, bitch. I feel like Elton John, Elton John.
What the fuck is that? Is this the Purge? Is that a threat? Like, what the fuck is that?
And I'm popping on my cloud nine.
Why are you afraid of styrofoam?
It gives me fucking goosebumps. Like, watch this shit.
Why? That's funny shit.
Look at it. Is that fun?
Yeah, breaking styrofoam is really fun, you sociopath. Did you get that? Did you get that from a forest? Is a lost child gonna come out of it? Let's see a fucking Stranger Things
I
lamp.
swear to God, Demi Moore's gonna come out of the box.
That is a portal to the upside down. I honestly was like making a joke, but it really looks like the fucking tree portal to the upside down. Why did you bring this demon shit into the house? We already have a fucking ghost.
This is a blessed
We already have a ghost.
This is imported from the Himalayas.
Fuck does it have demon lights coming out of it though? Why did you bring this here?
Wait,
I think the vibes you're all feeling are the
Wait,
fucking
I do
blunt.
feel a vibe though. It's like actually moving.
Okay, so you dressed up the fountain like a bitch at Coachella now.
Blessing the fountain with crystals.
That's a bitch at Coachella. Yeah, that's what she would say. Put a tube top on it and call it a day. Cue the scary music. Get up here, let's tell a spooky fucking story.
This one's a lot.
That was the fakest this one's a lot I've ever heard. Okay, so I don't really know if I technically believe in ghosts or not. I've had a lot of weird ghost shit happen to me, but I've never like it interests me, but I don't know if I really believe in ghosts. Do you believe in ghosts?
After a little experience, I definitely do. And
After this, I definitely do believe more in ghosts than I did before. Because it was weird.
I was a skeptic, but I had a couple ghost encounters in the past.
What were your ghost encounters in the past?
There was like when I was with my ex, multiple cups got thrown across the room. It was really creepy.
Like just cups were getting thrown?
It was like cups. It was always like when there was like tension or we were fighting, like a cup would it was always a cup, and it would be like, it would make no sense. Like it was all the way against the wall on like another, like a dresser, just got thrown full of water. It was creepy as fuck.
That's weird as fuck.
But, you know, I just kind of wrote that off. That was like 4 years ago. Haven't had anything spooky ever since. But this reinforced my belief in ghosts.
Yeah, my loft that I had over the summer, like Tana and I actually almost made a video together about how fucking creepy that loft was. Like every time I would come back to the loft and I lived there alone, everything would be moved. Like it would be, I had Halloween decorations that were fully turned around. At one point I was telling everyone the story about how weird the fucking loft was and how I thought it was haunted. And I had a skeleton there because it was Halloween time. And the skeleton's hand was like this, like just pointing at us when we turned around. And I was like, who the fuck did that? Everybody said they didn't do it, but it was still like weird as fuck. I had a bunch of shit happen in that place other than when I was a kid, which we were, like my parents were super Christian. So it was always like, there's no ghosts. Demons and angels, 100% we believe in that shit, but ghosts, that's crazy. So like, I didn't really believe in ghosts back then, but like we had a couple things at our house where like, diapers would get thrown up the stairs. We had a family room, and then the family room that was an add-on, and then the basement was like right against the family room. So like the stairs were right there, and we were all in the family room. I had weird as fuck shit happen in that house. Like my sister had kids when she lived at home with us, and we had like remodeled the basement. I would wake up in the middle of the night to like give her kids bottles and shit. It happened like 4 times. I would go into the kitchen, all the cupboards would be open. But also like 50 people live there, so I was like, what the fuck? Like it's fine, whatever. I have a shit ton of siblings. But then like sometimes I would hear the baby crying, and then I would go into the basement and it would be fully asleep. That shit was creepy as fuck. Like I would make a full bottle and then go downstairs to like give it to the baby, and like my niece would already be asleep. Like she was never awake. And like I just heard crying right before I went downstairs. So it was like weird as shit. But I always wrote it off like whatever. But then we move in here. The first day it happened was like right before we shot the Clout 9 video. Weird shit was happening in the house. Like we would hear like doors closed, like whatever, cold, like just weird shit. So I was like, oh, let's play with this ghost app. And there's a ghost app. This isn't a promo for it. I don't know what the fuck it's called. It's like whatever, I don't know. But we were using this app, and generally you would think it's like bullshit because like it just spews out words that like sound like somebody was murdered basically. And I've used this app with Nick a bunch of times, like in every apartment that Nick and I lived in, we would like use it, and like it would always be like funny, but nothing ever really happened. Then we started using it in my room in the new house, and shit got really weird.
Extremely fucking weird.
It got real fucking weird. We started using it, and I was like, whatever, like we were just talking to it, whatever, it was saying a bunch of bullshit words, and then like the whole room got real cold, and as I was like, what's your name? And it said Richard through the app. And I was like, what the fuck? Like, that was like the whole room got like chilly and shit when it said it. And I was just like, what the fuck? And then Sam kept going with questions. I was like, wait, no, stop. And it kept popping up. It has like a radar on it of like where energy is in the room or whatever the fuck bullshit this app does. And it had one specific dot that kept coming back. And every time that one dot came back, it would say a different word. And it was kind of like actually stringing along. And I was like, yo, what the fuck? And
I was fucking shook.
Sam was freaking the fuck out. So we put the app away. We were like, fuck that shit. We're not doing that again. Like, that was weird as fuck. So the next night in the day, I had searched Richard with our address to see if like Richard was an actual name of somebody who lived here. And the fucking guy who made this house and the last person who owned it were both named Richard. And I did not know that
Spooky
prior.
as hell.
I
actually knew someone who had been to a party at our house before, and they were like, oh yeah, you live in Richard's old house. And I was like, so that rang a bell and like popped up as soon as he said that, as soon as the app said that. And I was like, whoa, like, yo, that's the name of the dude who lived here before us. And after the research, we find out that the owner of the house who built it initially was also Richard.
So all of that was weird as fuck. And then, so I opened up the app the next night and I was just like, Richard, what's up? Like, Richard, are you here? And the dot popped up again, like the same exact circle in the same spot. And it was like, Richard again. And I was like, what the fuck? Like, it's never said the same word twice for me before. And if it has, it was like a weird common word, but this one was like the name Richard. And I was like, wait, what the fuck? That's so weird. And then we like kept asking it questions, and it was I was like, where are you? And it was like saying all these words like darkness, fog, whatever. All a bunch of weird shit. But I was like, I'm scared as fuck, but this app could also be fucking with us. I was like, if you're here, make the candle flicker.
That's when it got creepy as shit.
We have candles on our fucking desk all the time.
No movement.
Like, no movement at all. It was dead still.
And we watched it for like a minute before, like, just to make sure.
And I was like, if you're here, make the candle flicker. Richard was the name that it said yesterday. Richard. Richard, are you here? Richard, are you here? Make the candle flicker if you're here. I know you're here. Make the candle flicker, Richard. Richard, make the candle flicker if you're here. Holy shit. What the fuck? And it starts going up and down. Not like side to side of it like being blown on, up and down. Like up and down, straight up and down. And then as soon as the question was done, it would stop. And I did it multiple times. Not just fucking once. I have video of it doing so many times. Are you here? Make the candle holy fuck. Make the candle flicker if you're here. Holy fuck.
Oh shit.
What the fuck is going on? And it's just back to being still. What the fuck? Like, that candle has not fucking moved. That's not flickering. Like, that's not flickering when I blow. I'm not doing that. It hasn't moved since. Like, Richard, what the fuck? And I was like, I don't like this anymore. I'm done. Like, we're good with this. So the next day was the day that we're shooting the Cloud9 video. Sam had to come back to the house.
I forgot my Dr. Woke lab coat,
of course.
Yeah.
So he has to go back to the house to get it.
Forgot at the house, so we get to film the music video, and I'm like, oh shit, I forgot my coat. I need to go back and get it. So I run back to the house to grab it. And the moment that I like set foot in the house, I just felt like a chill, like it was just off. The energy was really weird. And then I go to turn on the light in Elijah's room. The energy was very weird.
The energy in my crystal cave was like really weird.
My third eye was like buzzing a little bit.
Yeah,
like,
for sure.
Yeah, I go to turn on the light for Elijah's room, and the second I turned it on, I just felt like I was like overcome with just like a cold, creepy, weird vibe. And I see my lab coat. I'm like, okay, like that's weird. The light starts buzzing, which it's never done before. And I go and grab the lab coat. And the moment that I grab my lab coat, I was wearing 2 crystals. This was one of them. Obviously. Dr. Woke, you know, many blessings.
Oh my God.
Both of the crystals bump together. And the second that they bump together, the light just blows out. And I'm like,
all the lights in my bedroom.
I
thought he meant just one. When I got back home that night, I like walked into my room and every single light bulb, they're all connected to different like outlets. Like they're all, you have to turn on 3 different lights to turn on all of the lights in my room. They all blew out. I didn't have any light bulbs left.
I'm like tearing up just like recalling.
So he tries to tell me this story as I'm like, dealing with balloon animals at Bella's house, and I'm like, what? And
I come back just shook.
Yeah, like he's like actually like, oh my God, like something weird just happened, like blah blah blah. And I was like, can you shut the fuck up? Put your lab coat on. Let's do this shit. Then we get home later that night, and we're laying in bed. And we have this thermostat called Nest. I don't know if you can hear it on the camera, but when you're turning it up and down, it makes a good sound. So we're like laying in bed, And I kept hearing this like beeping sound of it, like, and that's not like, it's not like controlled by like motion and shit. It's controlled by you turning it. And I kept hearing the thing ticking over and over again. And I'm like, what the fuck is that noise? And I thought Sam was like messing with the TV. And I'm like, why are you pressing buttons on the TV? And he's like, I'm not. And I look at the TV and nothing's happening on the TV. I was like, that was weird. And then like 5 minutes later, the room would get really fucking hot. It kept happening. It happened like 3 times. And I would look over and be like, oh, I must have turned the heat on. So I turn it back down. Happened again. It's not on a timer. It's not on any of that shit. It kept getting turned to the hottest fucking point of like the hottest it goes, which is like 95 or something. And it just kept getting turned back to that hot point. And I was like, what the fuck is going on? I started hearing the beeps again and I realized that it was like turning. And I looked over and it was like the hottest it could be and on. It's got a motion sensor display on it. So like if you put your hand in front of it, it will light up, but you have to like turn it to actually turn the heat on. And I looked over and the motion sensor lights were on as if it was just being turned up. And I looked and it was at fucking 90 something degrees again. And I'm like, yo, what the fuck is going on? And then the candle was going a little bit crazy. And I'm like, all right, we're not playing with this shit anymore. So I'm like looking up in bed, like what kind of like, what I need to do to get rid of like a fucking bad ghost in the house that's like trying to fuck with my heat. Like I like to sleep with it cold and I'm sorry. I don't give a fuck if you tear my blankets off, drag me across the room, but if you turn my heat up, like fuck you, ghost. Like you're getting the fuck out of this house. So I'm like laying in bed and I'm like, how, like what are the signs of like a ghost or like a demon in your house? I click an article called how to expel a demon from your house. And the moment I clicked the article, I just got like chills of my entire body. None of it was like scary. Like reading the first paragraph and I just get full body chills for no reason. Nothing I was reading was scary. Sam was sleeping with his arm wrapped around me. And I was like so scared that I like grabbed his arm for a second and he was dead asleep and he had fucking goosebumps and all the hairs on his arm were standing up. And I was like, what the fuck? And I get up and I look over, heat was back on. And I was like, nope, fuck that shit. And so I made him get up and we like went into the other room and we slept in the other room. I was like I was completely dead asleep. And I thought he was just fucking with me because we were talking about the ghost before. And also something I would fuck with you about, but yeah, was not. But it was not. It was fucking real and it was creepy as hell. So the next day we go to a store, a fucking witch store, and we get a bunch of crystals and sage and shit. And the lady's like, you have to sage your entire house, like open up all the windows, all the doors, have it completely open, sage the house, and then do Palo Santo throughout it to like cleanse it. Get our fucking sage, get our crystals, all that shit. And I was like, all right, let's just go through, let's clean up the entire house. Let's like fucking just wash everything, open up all the windows, all the doors, and then sage it. I was in the process of like setting up my room, so I was like, yo, I'm just gonna clean everything, I'm gonna vacuum it, and then I'm gonna set up all these Christmas lights and shit that I just got and like make my room all like vibey. Then I'll like sage it, it'll be like all open and clean and like nice. I'm in my room just doing my thing, working on a beat, you know. So I start stringing up these Christmas lights. And I'm talking on FaceTime to Nick, and I was just like making fun of like the whole situation and like that I'm actually saging the house because like it's ridiculous that this is a thing. And so I'm just like, yeah, I'm gonna hang up these Christmas lights and then I'm gonna sage this motherfucking bitch out. And as I'm talking to Nick, I'm telling Nick the story about the ghost, whatever, and I finished and I was like, as soon as I'm done, I'm gonna plug in these fucking Christmas lights, I'm gonna sage this bitch out, and it's gonna be vibey as hell in here. It takes me like 20 minutes, I get all the Christmas lights hung up all the way around the room, and I plug it in, and I plugged it into the wall, and I went, hope you're ready to get saged out, bitch. And then all the lights go out at once. Every single fucking strand of Christmas lights all the way around my bedroom, which weren't all plugged into the same one. There was 2 separate ones plugged in. Also, before that, I had plugged in the lamp over here, and it just went out, immediately died. I told him about it, he just shrugged it off. Like, shrugged it off, nothing. It's not real. Yeah. But as soon as it happens to me, then it's real. So then we saged it, and then I rehung up the Christmas lights, and they worked. And now we don't have a demon ghost anymore. Until we summon another one with a fucking fake iPhone app. Yeah. There we go. Not gonna do that. Anyways, so yeah, we accidentally summoned a really weird fucking demon-y ghosty thing, and it's named Richard, and I don't know anything about it other than its name is Richard. So I'm gonna do some research, and maybe we'll do a follow-up video. Creepy as shit. Yeah, it was don't fuck with ghost apps. Don't fuck with Ouija boards. Definitely don't fuck with Ouija boards. And if you have a problem, buy some black tourmaline. And sage that bitch. Today's song of the day is Truth Hurts by Lizzo. You can hear it on the playlist below and also right now. You could have had a bad bitch, not committal. Help you with your career, just a little. You're supposed to hold me down, but you're holding me back.